from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Niket Karunaratna.
A very warm welcome to the news. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
The International Cricket Council suspends Sri Lanka's membership. An appeal is to be submitted by the Sports Minister. Shammi Silva responds to the charges. The Central Environmental Authority chairman has been placed under detention in connection with a 10 million rupee bribe issue. Hindu devotees are ready for Deepavali celebrations. Heavy rains continue in several areas. 2 elephants have been killed after being caught to water currents. Fighting around Gaza hospitals intensify.
On to those and other stories in detail now. The International Cricket Council has taken measures to suspend Sri Lanka's membership.
Well-known sports website Cricinfo has reported that a request for restoration of membership is scheduled to be presented by President of Sri Lanka Cricket, Shammi Silva. The website has further reported that the suspension is a warning on political mediation in the activities of Sri Lanka Cricket. A meeting of the ICC is scheduled to be conducted in Ahmedabad in India from the 18th to the 21st of this month. It has also been reported that a decision is to be taken on the Sri Lankan situation after discussions. Sri Lanka Cricket President Shammi Silva is expected to attend the meeting as the ICC continues to acknowledge him as the Sri Lankan representative. The Sri Lankan team has faced the most disastrous defeat in its World Cup cricket history tournament by losing 7 out of the 9 matches it competed. It was also for the first time in history that Sri Lanka lost to Bangladesh and Afghanistan in World Cup matches. According to the powers vested upon the Minister of Sports, steps have been taken to appoint an interim board under the leadership of Arjuna Ranatunga on the 6th of this month with the objective of restoring the sport of cricket devoid of fraud and corruption. However, the Court of Appeal has issued an interim order for 14 days preventing the functioning of the board upon examination of a writ petition submitted by Sri Lanka Cricket President Shammi Silva. Accordingly, the team, including the Sri Lanka Cricket President, has returned to the Sri Lanka Cricket Institute. Taking into consideration of the situation, Sports Minister Roshan Ranasinghe has delivered a special statement on Sri Lanka cricket on Parliament. Thereafter, a proposal titled Removal of the Corrupted Board Officials, including the President of Sri Lanka Cricket, was submitted to Parliament the following day and a vote was also conducted. Minister of Sports Roshan Ranasinghe said that there were 54 charges in the 2020 World Cup. He added that even under such circumstances, he is receiving messages from the team. The minister further said that they have a guardian, Mr. Desha, who feels the majority power in the ICC. Parliamentarian Lakshman Kiriyala said that only 12 clubs are playing cricket in Sri Lanka, but they have a voting strength of 140. He further pointed out that the entire Australian Board of Cricket is being voted. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that according to Parliamentarian Kiriyala's request, a debate could be allowed if the 20 MPs support the proposal. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that the ICC is a separate organisation. He has also pointed out that if the 225 members in Parliament present a proposal and if some sort of a ban is imposed upon them, all 225 members must take the responsibility. They are unable to move away from the issue, saying that it is a government act. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa has questioned whether a parliamentarian has the right to request for a division in the chamber. He has also questioned if they have such a right, why the minister did not implement this right when they requested him to do so. He added that the minister has breached the standing orders.
සියලුම මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ගේ එකඟතාවය මත තමයි මේ ඊයේ යෝජනාව සම්මත කළේ. මම ඇහුවා මුළු සභාවේ.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa questioned whether there would be a right for a parliamentarian to request for a division. He further inquired as to why the opportunity was not given yesterday. Speaker Mahinde Apavivardhana said that the proposal was passed yesterday with the consent of all parliamentarians after asking 3 times whether they agreed. Parliamentarian Anurakumara Disanayaka said that unless the parliamentarian disagree, the Speaker should give opportunity for a vote. The Speaker should also consider such a request. In this cricket debate, Prasanna Ranatunga and Roshan Ranasinghe submitted false information. On the other hand, no vote was held at that time. If there was a vote, we would stay in the House. The Sports Minister alleged that there are 10 to 15 parliamentarians who take benefits from the Cricket Board. If the Chief Opposition Whip had expected a vote, he would have informed us. The International Cricket Council has decided yesterday to suspend Sri Lanka's membership.
Minister Roshan Ranasinghe, at a special media briefing at the Sports Ministry today, said an appeal will be submitted to the ICC.
I'm very disappointed about this notice, which I got to know from the media, and since I heard that message, I called and met with some legal advisors, and to lift this international ban, we are working on several bases, but at the moment we don't know what are the complaints to put this ban, because generally this is not the way. When ICC or any other body when apply the ban, they have long procedure to apply, but this is so surprise and it's not ethical. And like ICC's suspension of Sri Lanka is illegal. This is the way they can ban us. Number one, ICC can only suspend a member at the annual general meeting with the vote taken from all 108 ICC members. Within bracket, 2023, ICC AGM was back in July 2023. Number two, before suspending a member, ICC needs to give notice at the AGM requesting notice member to remedy shortcoming. Number three, suspension only happens 1 year later at the next AGM if the notice member has not remedied its shortcoming. ICC has not followed that course, and that's the main thing. They have procedure. Even few months ago, I can remember, based on the Sports Council chairman wants to stop some unnecessary people going abroad from that fund. He want to stop that. Then that time there was a conflict and they complained to ICC, and they sent me a letter asking this, what kind of interference you have to look after this. And I said, you better come, we'll have a discussion. Then they came here, Mr. Kawaja, who is the deputy chairman of ICC, he came and met me, and the others as well, other members. Then they send me a letter, we can't see any interference, and please work on harmony basis. That's the way, because this is sovereign country. It's Sri Lanka cricket. How they can condemn our country like this? How many interim committee happened in this country before? Even still, Pakistan under interim committee. Afghanistan, according to the ICC law, there should be a ladies team. But according to Taliban law, they can't have a ladies team. That also then government interfering. Why they treated us this way? And Pakistan, even whatever the elected committee also, chairman will be appointed by Prime Minister. As a sovereign country, everybody have to regret about this decision.
The Sri Lanka Cricket has also convened a special media discussion at the Sri Lanka Cricket today to respond to the accusations made by the Minister of Sports.
Political interference has to be stopped. Government has to give assurance that they won't interfere with us. I am asking the President, right? President has to get intervene, and President has to do it. President knows all the lot of diplomatic issues. He knows because he's a very senior person. He said that even the Parliament, he said this might happen. No, because now we have to get the government top level, we have to get the assurance about the political interference. Then we have to go to the ICC, and we can appeal to the ICC.
Now, the government and opposition political representatives have expressed opinions regarding the cricket ban imposed on Sri Lanka by the International Cricket Council. Parliamentarian Hesha Vithanage said that suspension of Sri Lanka cricket is the message they have had with the unanimous passing of a proposal in Parliament. The suspension is the direct result of the cricket institution. He questioned who is going to be victimised the ban, and that only the cricket fans will be greatly hurt. Parliamentarian Dr. Harsha De Silva said that the Minister of Sports Roshan Ranasinghe has requested a report by Supreme Court Judge Chitrasiri. That report was tabled in Parliament. The parliamentarian has questioned as to how they should clean local cricket by making use of this report. He said that the ICC ban was good because it would help us to correct ourselves even from now onwards. If not, there will not be any chance of eradicating bribery and corruption in the field. Parliamentarian Lakshman Kiriyalla said that the Chitrasiri Supreme Court report is extremely appropriate. Both the government and the opposition accept this report. State Minister for Youth and Sports Affairs Rohana Disanayake said that the President has a fine opportunity now to correctly redirect the country's future according to international relations.
Handing over a stock of motorcycles and desktop computer to the Sri Lanka Police Department has taken place at the President's office yesterday. The items provided by the People's Republic of China were officially handed over to President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The stockpile, comprising of 26 motorcycles of Rano Motor and 100 Lenovo desktop computers and coordinating activities pertaining to the items donated by the PRC, were handled by Senior Presidential Advisor and Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka. The stock of motorcycles and desktop computers were gifted according to a request made by Inspector General of Police C.D. Wickremaratne from the Chinese Ambassador V. Sen Hong. The Chinese envoy has presented the documents relating to the donation to President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The IGP and senior officials of the Chinese embassy have also graced the occasion.
Meanwhile, several areas in the island are continuously receiving heavy rainfall, resulting in a severe impact on the daily activities of the people. Several areas in the island are continuously under rainfall. The western slopes of the Central Highlands are reported to be receiving thunder showers. The town of Hatton was underwater last evening. The general public who had come to town to purchase goods for the Deepavali festival were encountering serious difficulties. Our correspondent says the extensive rainfall in Hatton has led to the overflowing of Dikkoya and inundating houses in the upper section of the Darawalavatta. Some of the people who went to the town have found it difficult to return to their homes as a result of the water level going above the concrete bridge across Dikkoya. The Udaratomanike train on the upcountry line was delayed since a mound of earth fell on the railway track between Hiloya and Kinigama railway stations. The heavy rains have rapidly increased the water level in Kirindioya. 2 elephants who had attempted to walk across the Kirindioya were reported to have washed away in the strong water currents. The carcass of one of the elephants was found in Tellulla on the 9th. The body of the remaining elephant was found last evening. The Vavuniya district is also reported to be receiving torrential rains. Many reservoirs are overflowing and water levels in some others are nearing the spill level. The many low-lying areas have been flooded. The Department of Meteorology forecasts that certain locations in the western, central and Sabaragamu provinces and Kurunegala and Polonnaruwa districts could receive heavy showers exceeding 100 millimeters. Now, Minister Dr. Bandula Gunavartana says a new policy will be introduced from next year regarding electric vehicles in Sri Lanka.
He has made these remarks addressing a ceremony held in connection with the 2023 World Common Transportation Day at the PMICH in Colombo yesterday. Minister of Transport, Highways and Mass Media Dr. Bandula Gunavartana said that they will take steps to unveil the country's policy with the assistance of local innovators before the end of this year. He has further stated that such a measure would enable them to give priority for electrically operated motorcycles, push cycles, three-wheelers in the year 2024. There's a plan to commence electric bus transportation as well. The minister also said in the year 2024 attempts will be made for the electrification of train transport, at least in several areas. All attempts will be made to conduct electric train transport in a 60 kilometers distance between Colombo and Avisavalla. State Ministers Lasantha Alagiyawana and Siripala Gamlat were also present at the occasion. A surgeon at Gaza's largest hospital, Al-Shifa, says the facility has run out of water, food and electricity and that the intensive care unit has been hit.
The Israeli military has repeatedly accused Hamas of operating from tunnels underneath the medical facility, which Hamas denies. The Israeli military has previously said it does not strike on hospitals but has today acknowledged intense fighting against Hamas in the vicinity of the area in question. Foreign media reports that 3 other major hospitals in the Gaza Strip are also now on the front line of Israel's ground invasion. The Deputy Minister of the Hamas-run Health Ministry says ferocious gunfire could be heard outside and parts of the hospital, including the intensive care unit, have been struck by the Israeli attacks. There is a growing fear that the hospital will catch on fire with all of them inside. An engineering team went to check on the generators powering the ICU and neonatal unit, but were also shot at, leaving one member of the team paralyzed. A doctor inside the hospital says that there is now no water, food or electricity in the hospital. 2 patients who were on ventilators have now died, one of whom was a baby. The Palestine Red Crescent Society warned that the Al-Quds hospital may have to shut down because of a lack of fuel and medical supplies. It claimed that 500 patients were at risk, while those on intensive care and babies on incubators are likely to die. Israel must stop killing babies and women in Gaza. French President Emmanuel Macron has told the BBC.
In an exclusive interview at the Élysée Palace, he said there was no justification for the bombing, saying a ceasefire would benefit Israel. While recognizing Israel's right to protect itself from Hamas attacks, French President urged Israel to stop this bombing in Gaza. Emmanuel Macron also stressed that France clearly condemns the terrorist actions of Hamas. France, like Israel, the US, the UK and other Western nations, considers Hamas a terrorist organization. When asked if he wanted other leaders, including the US and the UK, to join his calls for a ceasefire, he stressed that countries should join for the creation of a ceasefire. French President further said that bombing civilians, including babies, is no clear reason or legitimacy to conduct such horrendous acts. Therefore, he urged Israel to stop bombing civilians. We'll be back with more local stories after a break.
Prima Kutumi, Pantamai.
Deepavali, the main cultural festival of the Tamil community, falls tomorrow.
The Hindu devotees are eagerly preparing for the event. Deepavali signifies the concept of victory of light against spiritual darkness and goodwill and enlightenment against evil and ignorance. Prior to the celebrations, the Tamil people beautify their homes with oil lamps and enchanting color patterns. They conduct the Lakshmi worship festival in reverence of Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity and wealth. Fire displays are being added to the festivity. Sweetmeats and gifts are being exchanged.
The meantime, Chairman of the Central Environmental Authority's Supun S. Patirage, who has been taken into custody, was ordered to be detained till the 13th of this month. The suspect was produced before the Chief Magistrate's Court in Colombo today. Officials of the Commission inquiring into bribery or corruption have arrested 3 persons, including CEA Chairman Supun S. Patirage, when they were trying to accept a bribe amounting to 10 million rupees at the Central Environmental Authority's premises yesterday. They have been taken into custody in connection with issuing an environmental protection permit for a burnt oil storage project. It has also been pointed out that Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa has received an information regarding the request of bribe money. Accordingly, the ministers directed the businessman to the Bribery Commission, and the Bribery Commission officials got into action and arrested the suspects. Supun S. Patirage is regarded as the highest-ranking government official taken into custody this year in connection with attempting to take a bribe. Well, that's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas.
Terima Kutumi Pantamai.
Welcome back. We move on to news overseas now. More than 1.6 million people in Somalia could be affected by the recent unusually heavy seasonal rains, the United Nations has warned.
The United Nations has released $25 million American in aid, describing the floods as a once-in-a-century event. Somali authorities say at least 29 people have been killed and more than 300,000 displaced, with more rain to come. Somalia and neighbouring countries in East Africa have been hit by heavy rains since early October. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said the downpours had been worsened by the combined impact of two climate phenomena, the El Nino and the more localized Indian Ocean dipole, referring to the differences in sea surface temperature in opposite parts of the ocean. The agency warned that some 1.5 million hectares of farmland could be potentially destroyed. Martin Griffiths, the UN's Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator, said extreme weather linked to the ongoing El Nino risks further driving up of humanitarian needs in already vulnerable communities in Somalia and many other places. The UN Humanitarian Agency said rescue efforts were being delayed because roads had been cut. Aid groups have also warned that camps for people displaced by an Islamist insurgency and the recent drought had also been flooded, causing people to flee for a second time.
In the meantime, Colombia is to call some of the 166 hippos descended from a herd owned by drug lord Pablo Escobar in the 1980s. Colombian Environment Minister said that 20 would be sterilized, others would be transferred abroad and some would be euthanized. Experts have for years tried to control the hippo numbers. Escobar had imported the animals for his private zoo at Hacienda Napolis. They were left to roam after he was killed in a shootout with police in 1993. Authorities have tried various approaches to curb the population explosion in Colombia's main river, but the efforts have failed. Ministers said they were creating a protocol for euthanasia as a last resort. Colombian experts have long warned that the hippo's uncontrolled reproduction poses a threat to humans and native wildlife. Escobar was the head of the Medellin cartel and dubbed the Cocaine King, who amassed an estimated $30 billion fortune smuggling drugs into Miami and the southern United States.
Terima Kutumi Pantamai.
And on sports news for tonight, Afghanistan's expectations of entering the semi-finals of the World Cup cricket tournament were dashed due to a defeat by 5 wickets to South Africa.
The match was played in Ahmedabad in India yesterday. The Afghanistan team batting first scored 244 runs in 50 overs. Asamatullah Omar Sai was not out at 97. Gerald Coetzee has captured 4 wickets. The South African team has reached the victory target with 5 wickets in hand. Rassie van der Dussen was unbeaten with 76 runs. Mohammad Nabi and Rashid Khan have captured 2 wickets each.
Kutumi Pantamai.
And that's all the news for tonight. Join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.